students in the class may want a career in the future looking at working for somebody else, internal public relations, where you work for an organization or a university, as you have in the past. What kinds of people do well in that environment, and what kinds of skills do they need?
People who like a structured environment, people who like to work on one mission continuously rather than having a lot of diversity in what they're working on. People who can handle bureaucracy and politics, and how to play well in the sandbox with people that are in all different fields, because when you're the PR person or working in PR, you have got to be able to also be able to communicate well with, say, the engineers or, you know, the doctors or whoever the specialists are within that organization. You need to be able to work with them as well.
You really need to internalize the values and the mission of the organization. If it doesn't fit well, it really becomes difficult over time, doesn't it?
Absolutely, absolutely. If you're passionate about something, it's much easier to talk about it and to get the message out to others more effectively. The worst thing you can do is take a PR job in something you just adamantly do not believe in, because you're never going to be able to sell that effectively if you have your own issues you're trying to combat between that. So you have to be careful in what you pick and choose to put yourself out there and in. And sometimes a paycheck isn't the only reason to take a job. Although in these times it's understandable that you may find yourself in a situation where you have to do that. And that's, you know, when you have to put on your big kid pants and play the game and play it well.
What kinds of skills are organizations looking for nowadays in terms of somebody that they bring in a PR capacity? What kinds of things should you study in college and do to get your resume beefed up?
Sure. You know, I always say, as much as technology and all the new gadgets and, you know, knowing the top of the line latest, you know, application for the smartphone and all of that is certainly very valuable, basic reading and writing skills are just so valuable and so important in any job you are ever going to take. If you can't write effectively and not in a text message, you're gonna lose out a lot. So basic writing skills, I think, are absolutely the number one thing that employers look for now, because they know that we're in a digital age where everybody's talking in 146 characters. They really want to see, can you write an entire paragraph, and is it all correct, and does it make sense?
When you look on LinkedIn and other places, it seems that everybody's looking for social media experts nowadays, not PR experts.
Yes.
Is that a fad? Is that for real? And is part of it real and part of it a fad?
I think that remains to be seen. Even if it is a fad, it's a fad that you need to learn about and know about and jump in the game with everyone else until it either becomes the standard, in which case you've done yourself a favor by going ahead and jumping in there and learning. And if it disappears, you know, make sure that you have your eye out there on if, you know, social media is not, you know, going in the direction that it's going to become the standard, what else is there? You know, always keeping your eyes open for the next new thing, and whether it's a fad or not, at least educate yourself about it.
In addition to writing skills, nowadays it would also pay, I would think, to at least know how to use a flip camera, how to use a tape recorder, some of the technologies, be sure that you know how to tweet and
Absolutely.
Facebook. Just the broader the skill base, the better?
Absolutely. Because everybody's got a camera now, and everybody's got a smartphone now. But do you have a camera that you know how to use in different sorts of circumstances? Do you have a camera that you know will work effectively for this? You know, you need to take it one step further and kind of hone those skills and make yourself a specialist in those things.
You were able to go out on your own and launch your own public relations and consulting firm. It's, I think, a lot of people who have worked for large organizations then decide that they can go out on their own. How is that different, and when did you know you were ready? And
you know, it's one of those things, I'm not sure you're ever really ready, but I was in a situation where I had taken one of those jobs for a paycheck, and not necessarily because I was thrilled with the organization or their mission, and really ended up being very unhappy and thought, I have all of these skills, I have all of these resources, and I have all of these contacts throughout, the years that I've worked for other organizations. Can I take them and do something that I am really passionate about? And that is, greening and nonprofits and sustainability. And so that's what I do now. And although the paycheck is not what it used to be, and the benefits are not there anymore, it's tough. It's the hardest job I've ever had is working for myself. And you should know that going out there. You're always going to be your toughest critic, and you should be your toughest critic if you're going to own your own business. And for me, it's been absolutely great, though, and I would never go back to, I shouldn't say never say never, but an organization has not come forward that I thought I could be as passionate about as I am about my own things.
You've been doing a lot in areas of trying to green festivals in Old Town, working with various recyclers and people who are into sustainability. Now you're going to be doing some fascinating work with the Electric Forest concert, which is sort of the old Rothbury.
Sure.
Tell them a little bit about what you're going to be doing with the QR codes on the back of T-shirts.
Sure. Well, one of, in having your own business, one of the most important things is developing relationships. And somebody that I have developed a great relationship with is Anvil Knitwear. They're one of the largest t-shirt companies in the world. They have fully organic, cotton, sustainable products. And they're the first clothing company that has figured out a way to put QR codes, the little funky squares that you see with the black and white patchy things, onto clothing. And it's called Shirt Scan now. So for the Electric Forest Festival, we will have a team of photographers that all have these t-shirts that have these QR codes on them. So then anybody that's at the festival can take their smartphone and scan the back of the shirt. It will take them directly to a photo gallery from today's images. And that's also great in the world where everybody does have a smartphone and can use it to take a picture and put it up on their Facebook. These will be high quality, good images right up front that will fully really immerse people into the festival. So even, something that's become very popular within the music industry and the festival scene is called couch tour. And that means that somebody like iClips or there's a couple others out there are filming and live streaming from the festival. And so, you can get a fully immersive experience sitting right at home between the QR codes that you're seeing on the gallery and the live streaming. I don't think that is the way that the future will go and nobody will start attending festivals. But I think that there's enough of a population that geographically can't get there or because of work or whatever can't, and this is kind of one of the newer hot things in the music industry.
In order to be successful in public relations, you really always need to be able to hustle really hard and compete and get there and have the media pay attention to the message you want to get out. Part of the challenge is also crisis communications when something goes wrong. We look at a situation like poor Anthony Weiner right now. He would have been better off with a bit of a better crisis counselor.
Yes.
Do you do any crisis communications work?
I have not really so much in that none of my clients have found themselves in a crisis.
Good.
Which, cross my fingers so far, good luck, all of that. However, I have found myself in situations where in my own work, I have tried to go down one path and then realized that was not the right path and had to do some backpedaling and re-explanation. And I think that the classic case of that for me, it goes right to you, Bonnie, is with corn cups. When I first, in greening festivals and things, first heard about corn cups and that they could decompose and you could throw them right in the compost and they were great, they were the best thing ever, I started using them right here locally at the festivals. Well, I was using them very, without the right amount of knowledge. And then I found out all the reasons why corn cups might not be the way to go in the future. So I've had to backpedal from that and explain, but then again, it's all about the message and getting it out there and being honest and saying, hey, I made a mistake. This looked really good to me 2 years ago. Now I have learned that it's not the best thing. This is what we're using now, and these are all the reasons why. And if something changes, we'll let you know. And that's kind of the best you can do. I think if you find yourself in a crisis situation, the worst thing you can do is to continue to lie, or to continue to create to point the finger the other way, or just suck it up, admit you were wrong, and move on. And that's going to be the best piece of crisis intervention you can do for yourself.
In this new era, too, there is a difference between the NPR response, where the first time the PR person gets into trouble, they fire him, and the Red Cross response, where they turn it to their own advantage.
Absolutely.
And I thought maybe you could explain a little bit about that comparison.
Sure. I can't remember exactly. The Red Cross was one of their members accidentally tweeted something from their account. I cannot remember the specifics of what it was.
Let's go out for a few beers. I think
it was something about let's go out for a few beers. And rather than just firing that person, the Red Cross came out and said, "Oops, sorry, personal account. We assure you that all members of the Red Cross are working and sober." And haha, it was funny, and it was no longer newsworthy, and the story was dropped, and nobody's talking about it. In fact, this only happened, maybe 4 or 5 months ago? And I had already forgotten what it was about myself. So that is brilliant PR
and somebody
work.
else tweeted and gave up a link where you could donate to the Red Cross.
Right, exactly. So they turned it around and turned it to their advantage, rather than just saying, "Oh my gosh, this was somebody else's fault, and we've got them out of here and they're gone." No organization is perfect, and honestly, if the organization you're working for isn't willing to step up and back you when you've made a mistake, you're probably working for the wrong organization.
It is an issue of transparency as well.
Absolutely.
Admitting your mistakes, being upfront, being honest. That's really sort of the hallmark of crisis communications.
Sure.
Get it out now and get it out completely.
Yes, absolutely.
What kind of advice would you give to students who are looking for internships? What would you want to see in somebody you would put on as an intern?
Sure. Somebody who is very flexible, willing to do just about anything. Don't go into an internship with a lot of expectations. Try to go in as open-mindedly as you possibly can, because that's what you're there for, is to learn something. And you may not know yet what it is you need to learn. But hopefully you're in an organization that they're going to give you multiple opportunities, and you may be one day stuffing envelopes, but the next day you might be down at the Capitol talking to a senator. And you need to be prepared to do all of those things, and understand that, you're probably going to have to do a little bit of grunt work, but do it well, do it with a smile on your face, and you're probably going to get that next better opportunity out of it. For myself, I look for interns that are outgoing, passionate, that really want to learn, that really they want to do it. It's not just that I got to do this internship because it's a requirement to get my credits, and what's going to be the quickest, fastest way for me to get this done and out of there. Look for an internship that meets your personal passions. If you happen to love music like I do, try to intern with a PR company that's clients are music based. If you're passionate, if you think that you may want to work in the medical field, try to find a doctor's office or somebody who in that field that would take you on as an intern. And even though you may be stuffing envelopes, you're still in that environment to see if it's even a good fit for you. Because a lot of times you can think, oh my gosh, I'm going to do 4 years of undergrad, I'm going to go on to law school, I'm going to become a lawyer, and then I'm going to become a politician, and then I'm going to become the first woman president. Let me tell you, that was my story when I was about 18, 19 years old. It's not. I'm now the sweaty mouse. I don't have a law degree. I did graduate from James Madison at Michigan State, but I have no interest in going to law school. And I'm really glad that I didn't tie myself just to doing an internship at a law firm. I actually also had interest in environmental things at that time, so I actually did my internship with an environmental consulting firm rather than a law firm, and it turned out that worked out really well for me. So look for something that fits your passion, and just be ready and willing to do some of that grunt work so that you can get those better opportunities.